Hi, class. So today we are going to talk about SUNY colleges. So, what is SUNY? SUNY is the State University of New York. It's a system of public institutions of higher education in New York State. It's the largest comprehensive system of universities, colleges, and community colleges in the United States, and a total enrollment of 424,000 students, which is pretty insane. Um, and there's over 2 million adult education students. So there are 64 campuses across the state. So CUNY is the City University of New York. SUNY is the State University of New York. So other than FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology, um, all the SUNY schools that you're going to look at are outside of the city. So if you're thinking SUNY, you're probably going to a dorm. You're going to live there. So something to think about is where the school is located. I don't know how if you can see this picture that well, but this is New York State, right? And as you could, I liked this picture because this is us, right, over here in New York City, and this is the state. So Canada is a hop, skip, and a jump from some of these institutions. So if you're going to a SUNY school, you may be going very, very far away, somewhere a little bit closer, but that's something to think about, which I'm going to explore in the next slide. So I believe there are 60, yes, I got it right. There are 64 schools. So I cannot go over all of them with you like I did for the CUNYs. I don't have a list of 64 that's intense. So what I'm going to do with you is I'm going to go right to the SUNY website to help you navigate through which SUNY schools you might be interested in. All right, so here we are at the SUNY website. It's suny.edu, and I'm going to go through a few things with you to get an idea of what SUNY is like. So I really like this one here first, the search for campuses, because what this page will do, it'll bring us here, and then you can look by location, by academics, and by sports. So some of you may be very interested in pursuing, being part of a sports team, and for others, you may be looking for a sports scholarship. So that's not something I know a ton of. I don't know if it's obvious, but I didn't go to school on a sports scholarship. I did not really play a sport. So I'm going to look at two different things. For me, location's very important for SUNY because, like I said, you may be very far up. So if you click this, what I love, you can see based on location. So here's where we are. So you may not be interested in going to a school in the north here, or you may be. You may be like, yeah, I'd like to go, 12 hours away from my home. That's fine. But I like this because it does give you an idea of where the school is located in reference to where we are right now. You're not going, if you're going to go away to school, you want to go away. You're not going to come home every weekend. But if you're homesick or it's someone's birthday or there's something going on, you do want to come home, right? So I haven't searched this, so I hope I don't mess this up. 11377, that's me. So if I want to look at 500, wow, let's do 400. What schools are 400 miles away? Did I do that correctly? Oh no, did I not? Sorry, I should have fiddled with that beforehand. I apologize. I didn't look at that yet. So let me pause for a second and make sure I'm not. All right, sorry guys, I need to fix myself there. All right, so let's say you are like, listen, I want to get as far away from my home as humanly possible. I got to get the heck out of here. So I'm going to look up the schools in the north. Now you click north, and I'm like, why isn't anything happening? Because I had to scroll down where it says start search. Now I'm going to get a list of the schools that Yep. That are located all the way up north, far, far, far away from us. Okay, so that's one way that you can look at up schools. So let me go back to that page. If you're the opposite, which I think most of you probably are, where you're like, hey, I want to go away, but that seems super far, the southern, so this will be the schools located closer to us. Click search, and then they'll give us a list of the schools that are a little closer. I mean, they're still pretty far away. Like Stony Brook is probably about an hour and a half. Suffolk is probably about an hour. New Paltz is about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I mean, they're not like 20 minutes away, but they're a little bit closer to home. Okay, so let's say, I'm sorry, let's look at the other way. So you could look at these schools by location, and again, you could take the time to do that on your own, or you could do this by academic interest. So you click there, and then you click on the major that you might be interested in. So I know a lot of my students are interested in engineering, so I'm going to click engineering. Then I'm going to go to start search, and then I will have a list of all of the SUNY schools that have an engineering program. Okay, so that's oh, and this is located in the south. Oh, that's interesting because I guess I didn't unclick that. So then you have, it's a pretty expansive list. Okay, and then something I don't know much about, I apologize, is sports. So let's say you are playing basketball. You're a female basketball player. They'll give you the schools that have that program, or that sport with engineering, and then that it's close. Oh, that's super cool. Sorry, I'm not as familiar with SUNY as CUNY. So this way you can start narrowing things down. So if you want to, yeah. So again, this is something that you could take some time to look through on your own, to get an idea of a SUNY school that might be a good fit for you. Okay. So I'll spend another minute because we're only 6.5 minutes into this. So New Paltz, right? I've been to New Paltz. It's a nice area. So you click on that, it'll bring you to the New Pulse website. It'll give you some basic information about it. It'll show you where it's located, so you could see it's not, it's about halfway between here and Albany. A little bit of a profile. So what are the SAT scores that are required? What's the GPA? And then admissions. So you get a lot of information on this website on the school that you are interested in based on some of the factors that you've clicked in. Okay, so I'm going to keep this one a little bit short. So again, SUNY, students that are applying to SUNY schools, typically you want to go to a school away. You want to live on a campus. You want to get that campus life. SUNY is cheaper than a private school typically, so that's why some students are going to want to go to SUNY as opposed to a private school. There is also a scholarship that we'll talk about when we get to talk about money, finances. The other thing I just want to point out is many people have the misconception that if you are going to go away to school, you have to go to a 4-year school for a bachelor's degree, and that is not the case. So I'm not familiar with the school, but it says community college, so I'm just going to click on it. So the Mohawk, which sounds like a fun place to go. I want to go to Mohawk Valley. Again, this is a community college, so it's a 2-year school. You will be admitted to the school with your high school diploma. It's in Utica, so that's a little bit further away. And it gives you, again, you can click on here, admissions, and you can get a little bit more information about the school. So I think that SUNY rather than private, if you are looking to um, go away to school, to dorm and have that whole experience, SUNY would be the way for you to do that in terms of going to a community college. If that makes sense. All right, so that's SUNY. I hope I was clear on that. Again, I can't devote as much time into going to each school because there's 64 of them, but just a few things to think about. You want to go to a school, think about the location. A quick story, my cousin went to Mooresville, which she got a degree in equine science, which means she studied horses. She's now a mounted police officer. Um, and when she, that they had the ag program she was interested in, she went up there. It so much, snowed so much, and it was in a very isolated area. She said like the highlight of the week was when they got to drive to the Dairy Queen. So a lot of these places are in isolated areas. One other thing to point out, hold on a second, I'll bring you to a new page. So hold on. Okay, so the one other thing I'll say, like I said, the SUNY schools sometimes are very in isolated areas. They're far away. They get really bad winters. I think it's Buffalo where they actually have underground tunnels for kids to walk through because it's so cold in the wintertime. And they're also much more white. than CUNY schools. And by that I mean literally white people. So if diversity is important to you, that's something that's just to think about. Most CUNY schools are very diverse because we are the city. We're getting a lot of city folk here. But when you move out to the state, it's going to be most of the people from the state. But New York State looks very different than New York City. So that's just something else to point out to think about SUNY. So again, I hope that was helpful. And that's what I have to say about SUNY.